You are watching Influence Media, PSI TV, the Netflix of biz brands.
Are you and your offer invisible? If you feel that way or your results suggest that, this show is for you. We're going to be covering a story, what the Bible says, what academic research says, and some strategies to increase your discovery of you and your offer. This is a weekly show every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm Trudy Bearman. Thank you for joining me live or later. Please be sure to comment and let me know where you're watching this from and what is your take on all that I've shared. Do you feel invisible? Does your brand feel invisible? And which of the strategies will you cover? Let's go. So let's say your brand is here. Now, if I said, go find me a red boat, it'd be like, there's just so many. They all look alike. This is what competition is like. So whether it's dollars or attention, when it comes to whatever it is that you're offering to the world or your brand or your products, there's like a sea of red for all they can see. But what if you were the blue boat or your product was the equivalent of the blue boat? It's easier to pick out from the competitive bunch. Even more so, what if your offer was the yacht all the way out in the distance, separated from all of the competitive forces around it? Where the yacht is what's often called a blue ocean offer or blue ocean strategy. You're clearing away from all the competition. They don't even lump you in with the competition. And then that becomes the gold standard, the elite, the Prada, the product that people aspire to. So for some, for example, a Rolex, or for others, a Patek Philippe. So it depends on where you are. But the concept is your offer or your brand part of the red pack? Or are you able to stand out even if you're amongst the pack, like the blue boat? Or better yet, how can you create that blue ocean setup for you and your brand? Guys, I want to tell you, I'm not going to say I've accomplished that yet, but I am on that journey. And I've been consistently working toward that myself. So I believe I'm right now like the blue boat in the space of TV as a platform, but I've differentiated myself. I don't see myself in the TV business anymore. We have re-envisioned our business to be in the influential reach business. And that's because many of you may know, if you follow me at any time, I'm also a doctoral candidate at Liberty University. And my research pursuit is influential reach. This is my academic pursuit research-wise, okay? So join me on this journey. Let's do this together. I've already accomplished several milestones, but I'm not where I want to be. Maybe I'm just a little bit ahead of some of you. Maybe some of you have lessons you can teach me, but let's do this together.
He suggested that if they just leave self-interested traders to compete with one another, markets are guided to positive outcomes as if by an invisible hand. If someone charges less than you, customers will buy from them instead. So you have to lower the price or offer something better. Whenever enough people demand something, they will be supplied by the market.
Okay, so let's break this down. Here, there's only one person offering bread in the market. The buyer, the consumer, has no other source to go but to this person and pay the price he's asking. But shortly after, another competitor shows up, and that competitor offers the same product or a very similar product for half the price. And the consumer, perceiving that there's really no difference between the two offers, jumps and finds this person and is willing to buy from that person. So now the competition starts. Now both of them are offering the product at the same price and competing for attention. There he is trying to whistle to get the man's attention back. This is what is happening for us in the market. And all of a sudden, this man is like, where do I go? Where do I go? So if you are at least on the radar as an option, you've already achieved a lot. You've already achieved a lot if you're on the radar and one of the options. Some of us, people don't even know we exist. We might be literally next door to where they are, and they don't know they drive miles just because they did not know. But if you're at least on the radar, there is a possibility that they will pick you. But here, what happens in the market is people are going to try to differentiate themselves. So let's see what happens in this story. There we go. This man now offers more for the same lowered price. This is the market that we're in. Always we're needing to differentiate our offer to the world. Now let's watch this clip from Jordan Peterson.
Look, if you do your job very competently, you might expect that your boss should notice that, and probably he or she should. But the problem with doing things well is that it's invisible. What's visible is mistakes. So then you just work really hard and you're invisible. It's like, well, you're invisible. That's not helpful. And like, did you ask? And maybe asking isn't good enough. Like, I've counseled lots of people who've tripled their salaries in 2 or 3 years. Like, it's work, man. It's work. It's a strategy. It's a war to do that. But you can do it. I mean, the first thing we do is, well, are you actually doing a good job?
Let's say yes.
Okay, fine. Are you documenting it? Generally, no.
Yes.
If you're documenting, are you communicating the documentation? Well, no.
Interesting overview of this. So in this clip, the question is, first of all, whether if you're even doing excellent work, you're invisible. Now, in this case, Jordan's talking about someone's in a job. But when you're in a job, whether it's in a job or in a marketplace, we're always vying for attention. We are wanting to be the ones selected for the promotion or selected for the purchase or selected to be invited to speak on a stage, whatever it may be. We are always in a competitive environment. Even if your work is excellent, it can be invisible to those who need to see it. Then in the process of becoming visible, as Jordan points out, it is work. It can be done. And the end result, if you do become visible, is you can triple your income, but it is work. The question I have for you is, are you prepared to do the work? If you're prepared to do the work, comment below, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the work. If you're prepared to do the work, guys, it's not going to happen like magic. I wish magic was an option. I truly wish magic was an option, but magic is not an option, at least not in this era. So we've got to do the work. Are you prepared to do the work? One of the process of the work that Jordan refers to is, are you documenting? Right now, as you are watching this video, this is part of my documentation. I am showing up and letting the world know what I do and how I do it. This is part of my documentation. If you Google me, you will find pages and pages and pages of documentation in the form of blogs, websites, my LinkedIn page, my various videos, and so forth. Are you documenting? If someone looks me up, there are tons of evidence that not only am I who I say I am, but what I do. Are you documenting? Then you have to share the documentation. So it's all fine and well. You have this private little file that's sitting on your desk. You really, like my son, for example, he's 21 years old. He's an amazing artist. Nobody knows but me. He just is so, I don't shy or a perfectionist. I'm not quite sure. We're trying to work that through with him for him to be willing to share his work documentation with the world. It's just something that we've just got to do. So let's look at some examples of exactly the challenge that we're dealing with. I'm going to show you 3 examples in real estate, in coaching, and in authors. So in the real estate niche, according to NAR, that's the National Association of Realtors, there's 1.5 million realtors in the US, and that was as of January 2023. If you're a realtor, you're part of this 1.5 million. Now, I live in Tampa, Florida. In Florida, Florida has more realtors of all the states, seconded by California. Okay, so if you're a Florida realtor, the odds are really already stacked up against you. Now, bear in mind, a realtor and a real estate agent are not the same thing. NAR is recording realtors. These are people who are real estate agents that have become members of NAR, and it costs a few dollars to become a member of NAR, or like in Florida, it would be Florida Association of Realtors, or whatever your state is. But there are real estate agents that have not joined NAR, and there's an estimation because there's really no way to measure them if they're not part of a group, but there's an estimation of an additional 168,000 real estate agents that don't belong to NAR. So if you are in the space of real estate, how are you going to stand out? You are either one of the red canoes, or you can be the blue canoe, or you can establish yourself as the yacht with that blue ocean space between you and your nearest potential competitor. Which one are you? Which one do you want to be? And it does tend to go in stages, because if you are amongst the red boats and you can somehow paint your boat blue and be identified, okay, you are now one of the options, but of the options you stand out versus, you know, the next stage that grows you to the yacht level. So when it comes to marketing in the real estate space, here is what is being shared. 3 out of 4 marketers say video has a stronger return on investment than photos. Guys, it's great to take a selfie, but when you can make yourself a video of what you are up to, it says way much more than a photo does. And it allows people to get to know you at some level. And that is, video is the next best thing to them meeting you in person. Okay. And remember, TV is primarily video, but you're watching this on another platform, some social media platform right now, probably, and this is video. So video marketing is huge. Now, our primary platform here at PSI TV is TV. And we're on 3 television platforms right now. We could be on 4, but it is quite a pricey penny to be on Apple TV. So we're on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Vita TV. So TV is our primary platform, but we are making sure that we're seen. So we are being as digitally omnipresent as possible. So we're also on other platforms. Video marketing statistics include the fact that only 9% of agents create listing videos. Guys, you already see, if you're a real estate agent or a realtor, that there's so many of you. And of that pack, only 9% are creating listing videos. Are you serious? Are you serious? Says most agents aren't taking the initiative to do video marketing. This means you can stand out early and often. It's early because it's still only 9%. So if you jump on it right now and start to make videos of your work, you will be able to stand out. And remember, I said, are you willing to do the work? It says most agents aren't taking the initiative. That is work. They're not prepared to do the work. They're going the easy way and hoping for magic. Guys, I truly wish there was magic, but magic is not an option. Now let's look at coaches. Now, according to the coachfoundation.com, there is an estimate of 1.7 million coaches in the United States. Now, this is not counting athletic coaches, because this is life coaching statistics, okay? So we're talking 1.7 million life coaches in the US alone. How are you going to stand out from the pack? People are now realizing the value of coaches. There are so many. You might be literally living right next door to your prospect, the person who's looking for a life coach. They don't even know you exist. Or at the very best, if you're on their radar as one of the options, are you doing the work? Are you doing the work? When it comes to authors, there are 50 million book titles on Amazon. 50 million book titles on Amazon. I have to say, authors, that there are quite a few authors that come to PSI TV. They may have other businesses. And interestingly enough, they didn't come to PSI TV to promote their business, but they did make the effort to promote their book. That has often made me go, why is it that these entrepreneurs, very often entrepreneurs, business owners, coaches, they're not making the same effort to promote their business that they are to promote their book? It's very interesting, but maybe it's because they understand that they are 50 million book titles on Amazon alone, and Amazon is not the only book retailer out there. How are you going to stand out from the competitive pack? You want your book sold, you want your book read, you want people to know the solution or the entertainment or whatever that's in your book. You didn't spend all that time writing it for you and you alone. You didn't need to. You already know the story. So the goal is to go from unknown to discovered, from unknown to discovered. That is the goal, if only for the sake of your family. Guys, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Look, let me look right in the eye and tell you, as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter, if my world was only my family, I would be the happiest woman on the planet, even if I never met another living soul. But that's not going to feed my family, okay? That's not going to really enrich my life. And that's why I need human connection beyond my family. That's why I show up on video to speak to you, and hopefully you'll speak back to me. I do read the comments, by the way, and I will respond. So when a guest comes on PSI TV, we light them up. We introduce you to our TV audience, and we're constantly making strides to expand that audience every day. So for a moment in time, you become the celebrity of the show. We elevate you. We introduce you to our audience. There's a bit of trust transfer and endowment effect. All of these things I've already shared on other videos. You are beginning, and of course, that search engine optimization juice that comes with it. Madison Brightwell was one of our TV guests. She is a brilliant coach, and her business really blew up during COVID. But Madison is trying to show up on video, but she has 1 subscriber and 5 videos. So hopefully she's just starting and she will make more. You got to start with the first one, right? She's made 5 videos so far, but Madison showed up on PSI TV. And in addition to the 3 TV platforms that we shared her content, we also shared her content to a total of 17 platforms. And her video on our YouTube channel got over 2,000 views and 119 likes, okay? I would say we're not Mr. Beast by any means, but at least Madison got a little bit more exposure because she chose to tap into the resource that is PSI TV. Are you our next guest? Let's look at another example. This is Montasir El Faki, and this is a Google page that I brought up. And if you see, the first listing here is LinkedIn. Before Dr. El Faki came to me, he was not on LinkedIn. I told him to create his LinkedIn presence. And shortly after the show, I pulled this Google page. So I typed in his name. LinkedIn is the first thing. And here's my next post. And if I scroll down, which this is just a screenshot, this was taken in September, right after we did his show, there are additional links that were created from his time on PSI TV. Here it is. Here's Dr. El Faki. This was his show with us. And he had over 2,000 views coming from someone who had, I don't even think he has a YouTube presence, and his Facebook page had like 25 followers, most of which were family. So, but in all fairness to Dr. El Faki, he is an immigrant import into the United States. So let's go back now and see what the Bible has to say about going from unknown to discovered. Matthew 5:14-16 says, "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light to all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." So we're not trying to show the world, look how good I am, for the sake of look how good I am. We're shining our light before men so they can see our work, to glorify our Father in heaven. So don't make the mistake. When people start to say, "Hey, Trudy, how great you are," and I've gotten a few of those, I don't take that as a compliment to me per se, as it is that I have shown up to glorify God. So I'm usually saying, thank God for that, or, because of God, or, God has made that possible, or he has given me favor. I'm always trying to point it back to him. If you think of light, really what it is, even if you're not a Christ follower, the point is you have a solution. You have a solution. Why should that solution be kept just to you? That is a solution that needs to be shared with others. So the goal is to really take your talent, your gift, your light, and share it. And it should not be hidden. And if you are a Christ follower, then you do want to let your light so shine before men. It is our duty to do so. We want them to see our good works, but not so that we get the credit, but to glorify our Father in heaven. So if you're a Christ follower, this is a mandate. And are you doing the work? Are you letting your light so shine? Are you doing good work? Your next step, should you choose to take it, if you wish to go from unknown to discovered, these are things you can do. You can do absolutely nothing. Maybe everything's going great for you, and this was just, a few minutes of your life that you just shared with me. Thank you very much. But if you do nothing, then your situation is going to stay the same. And if that's serving you, then great. But your options include getting a television channel like PSI TV. Maybe you're already making video content enough that you should include the platform of television. I always say, if you can YouTube, you can TV. Or you want to be our next guest. If you want to be a guest on PSI TV, and not everyone qualifies for this, you would apply to be on our show, and then you would be responded to yay or nay. For PSI TV, we have determined not to run ads on our show because we work so hard to earn the attention of our audience, and ads tend to be the point where people break and go away from a show. So that is not a way that we've decided to monetize for our business model. So it is a pay-to-play platform, but I guarantee you, depending on the package that you pick, it's always going to be the equivalent of a date night. You just have to decide what kind of date you are going to take your bae on, all right? The last option with us is to take our REACHology quiz. It is free. And then once you get your baseline score for your level of influence and reach in the market, there will be a response to your score, and you can run with that and DIY the options to build your score up, so you can come back, take the quiz again, and see if your growth in influence and audience reach is going up. If you do these things, if you show up, if you have a media presence, if you are doing the work, the results is going to be a growth in your influence and your reach. Influence is not the same thing as audience reach. They're two different things. You might be a big fish in a small pond, you have influence, but you want to jump ponds and grow again. So you build your audience from your group of peers to your city, to your state, to the nation, and maybe even globally. If you're doing the work, you're going to be the one others want to hear from. You will be invited for guest spots on stages, podcasts, and more. Yours will be the first name that comes to mind for the thing that you do. You will be the obvious choice from the pack, the blue boat or the yacht. You will be recognized by people who you don't even know. There are people who have watched me and they'll recognize my face or whatever, and I don't even know who they are. And you will eventually be considered a celebrity in your space and paid as one. Trudy Bearman here. I am super simple to find. If you want to go from unknown to discovered, and if you found value in this today, like, comment, share, subscribe, and catch you on the next show. Thank you for joining me.